Did you see the MBT tweet about the perfect ban list? The question I have is, I'm looking it up in the background right now, but the question I have, do I want to see this? I'm not sure if I do want to. Which one is it, chat? This one? I'm going through the rows right now, chat. Unironically, chat, there is no card on here that I disagree with. Except for... I don't know what the hell Sword Soul Blackout is doing here, along all those other cards. I don't know why IP is here. But unironically, Mirror Jade is a little bit harsh. Mirror Jade is a little bit harsh. Nibiru is a little bit harsh. But... Okay, chat. The thing is... It's the ban list discussions is the funniest shit to me, because you will never make a ban list that even 50% of the community likes. It's impossible. Like, literally, you can present the most base take on a certain card, and literally half of your comments on the YouTube video are going to be just question marking you. It's insane. It is insane how impossible it is to make a ban list that people can agree on. Yeah, exactly. But look at the limited section. Okay, dude, I don't know why you're putting some of those floodgates in limited if this is what we're doing. The thing is, chat, the thing is, I don't know how to say this without everyone just hurrying and question marking. The thing is, I personally am a defender of the theory that a huge ass ban list, and I'm not saying exactly this one, but a huge ass ban list could be a way how we fix modern Yu-Gi-Oh! In a way where we don't get rotation. We don't get rotation. I get it. I get it. I think the idea of rotation is interesting, but it would be... I think it would be interesting to kind of just have a huge ass ban list, not one of those small ass ban lists that they usually do, where they only ban like the top meta threats, but just kind of like a huge ass ban list that just kind of refreshes and kills a lot of stuff that has been causing problems over and over and over again. Now, that does not mean I agree with every single decision here and that this is perfect or whatever, but I think it would be refreshing to play in a format where some of those staple cards are just gone for now, right? I feel like, I wonder how it would feel if not every deck had access to Access Code Talker, Appaloosa, Boral Sword Dragon, all those kind of cards. Every synchro deck makes Barone, every deck makes, every rank 4 has Dweller, every, Baguska, all those cards. I think most of those cards, whenever they hit the table, are not that fun. Most of those cards. I don't know why you put Circular to 1 and not ban it, but yeah. The thing is, this is never gonna happen, so it is literally irrelevant. It is completely irrelevant what we think about this. But I think it'd be interesting. I would not be opposed to it. But it's never gonna happen. It's never gonna happen. Just be clear. But I don't hate it. I do not hate it. Have you considered not being an absolute Giga Cutie day? Okay. Yeah. One thing that I'm wondering, though, is I say this, I say this where, like, we could, well, how do I phrase this? We could hypothetically try and fix Yu-Gi-Oh by making a huge ass ban list. And by we, I say Konami could do that if they wanted to do that, right? I think they've tried before slowing down the game, which when they implemented the last master, the second last master rule, right? I think that was an attempt at slowing down the game, and it kind of failed. I wonder what would happen if we would get a ban list like this, chat. I wonder what would happen. My fear is that if something like this would happen, I think there would just be some other decks that fill in those shoes. Because I honestly think we have a lot of busted in the sense that if all of this happened, I think we just have backup busted decks. You know what I mean? When they implemented links, the game was kind of nice at the start since everything was so scuffed. I honestly think that's a very fun time whenever they make a new mechanic and the cards are not quite busted yet, but everyone kind of plays them, but they're not that broken. Similar to how, like, in the beginning of Synchros, like, they were, like, kind of good, but all the tuners just sucked ass, and the Synchros were not that powerful. And then the same with XYZs. It's like, bro, we summoned Utopia for its actual effect in the beginning, like, 3 years of XYZ. We summoned our rank 3s were Levier and freaking number 17 Leviathan Dragon, dude. And we played like Gem Knight Pearl when it came out, which is a vanilla because it was like a big. You know what I mean? It was so funny. And then, like, in the beginning of Lynx, it was like, bro, Miss Starboy was like sick when it came out. Millis Radiant or whatever it was called, dude. We played those. I think that's the funniest. I think extra deck mechanics are always fun when they're fresh, and then eventually they turn broken. Because they just make better and better and better ones. But yeah, it is what it is. Farfa has banned 2,000 cards in Master Duel during the last card standing, and there was still an FTK last week. Yeah, that's what I mean. That's what I mean. I think even if you do all of this, we still have non-fun cards left. You know what I mean? Which leads me to think that this is pointless. It's pointless to make a huge ass ban list. What needs to happen is they need to step up their game design. Essentially, is what it comes down to. They need to step up their game design because you can only combat this problem with decks that are better than the degenerate stuff, but without being degenerate themselves, which is a very hard task. It's very hard to do that, but that's what they would need to do. I think that's what they need to do in the long run. Tier was a good example. Honestly. Let me tell you, you might not like it, but Tearlament was one of the most healthy designs in terms of these things, right? Let me tell you what the problem of Tier was. Let me tell you what the problem of Tier was, because I'm not saying Tearlament was like the end all be all, because Tearlament was definitely too strong for its time. I think the problem with Tearlament was that it had no other contenders. Tearlament would have been healthy if they made it together with some other decks that had the same power level. Because the only problem with Tier is the same problem that I'm experiencing in Master Duel right now, that if you don't play Tier, you get smacked in the face. And that is the problem. That's what people don't like. That's what the community doesn't like. When there's like one deck that you have to play or you lose. We needed other options next to Tier that were the same power level. And then we could have had a very, very good format that maybe was not a Tier 0 format. Sounds like a rotation format solution to me. I'm not going to go into the topic of rotation. I'm not going to talk about rotation anymore. We've done it before. It's been done. I think rotation would be interesting. I think it's never gonna happen, so it's pointless. If they ban the Ishizu cards, then honestly tiers are fine. It's not about that they're fine. It's not about that. It's about whether they're healthy or not. In terms of deck design. Like, the deck design of tier was, I think, pretty okay, because it didn't inherently floodgate you. It had inherently a good grind game. It didn't put up the most insane infinite negate boards. Like, it's a fine deck in terms of its playstyle and all the things, but it was just not healthy because the other decks couldn't keep up with it, I think.